Nasarawa State University, KFI, Open Distance E-Learning Center with PAD111, Introduction to Public Administration, Study Session 1, Meaning and Basic Concept in Public Administration by Dr. John Abimiku. Learning outcomes of this session, of course, when you have studied this session, should be able to explain the basic concept of public administration, discuss the basic functions of administration, and as well identify the difference between politics and administration. When we are talking about administration in itself, you just look at it, where 2-3 persons are gathered together, the art of administration must take place, because these 2-3 persons, which are human, they must communicate, they must speak, they must have something to do, and they must have target within which to achieve. As such, any place where 3-4 persons are gathered together, the art of administration has taken place. But administration can be defined as the process of organizing and coordinating resources, people and tasks to achieve specific goals and objectives. It involves planning, it involves decision making. You can also organize and directing and controlling the activities within an organization in this aspect now, or specific domain. Of course, there are many scholars who have defined administration in their own ways, but the father of administration, Peter F. Drucker, in 1946, saw administration as a process of planning, organizing, directing, and controlling, carried out to determine and accomplish the activities of an organization by the use of people and other resources. Now, the key aspect of defining administration for you to understand very well includes the following. 1, planning. Like I've said earlier on, when 2-3 persons are gathered together, they must have a domain within which they will commence their own activities and the target within which they want to accomplish their own activities. And so administration involves setting goals and objectives, developing the strategies, the ways, and creating plans to achieve desired outcomes of those activities. This includes analyzing the current situation, identifying resources needed to accomplish such activities, and establishing the timelines and milestones within which that activities must be accomplished in a good time. Then you, of course, when you want to accomplish any activities, you must organize. And so the second thing is organizing. Administration encompassing the structuring and arranging of resources, including human resources, materials, and technology, like I've said earlier on, that administration has to do with the effective and efficient utilization of human and material resources in an organization. In such a way, it supports the efficient and effective accomplishment of goals. This includes designing organizational structures, defining rules and responsibilities, and establishing communication coordination mechanism within the organization. And then you go to the next thing of coordinating. Of course, like an officer or a leader, you must have the ability in how to coordinate the system so that the set up goals and objectives will be achieved through the people that are involved, and the materials also that are to be carried out in terms of utilizing in order to achieve the objective and goals of that organization. As such, administration, like I was explaining, administration involves the integration and synchronization of activities and efforts across different parts of an organization or among different stakeholders. It ensures that tasks are aligned, resources are utilized optimally, and collaboration occurs to achieve common objectives. Remember, I have said efficient and effective utilization of both human and material resources. You have to have the capability and ability of directing. Administration includes providing guidance, leadership and supervision to individuals and teams. This involves motivating employees, providing clear instructions, facilitating communication, and resolving conflicts. Effective direction helps to ensure that everyone is working towards the same goals and objectives. Any organization that there is no directing or direction, people will be working in assumption and nobody to direct them on what to do. And so administration needs somebody as a leader to be able to direct activities and direct responsibility to each individual in order to accomplish the set goals. Of course, when you direct, you also have to control, because you can't direct and close your eyes to expect good result. You must control. That is to say, you monitoring and you evaluate the progress so far towards the goals and taking the corrective actions within the production processes, so that at the end of everything all, you will achieve the set goals and objectives at a reasonable time. And this involves establishing performance standards, measuring performance, analyzing variances, both positive and negative variances, and making adjustments where necessary to ensure that activities are on track. Then, of course, you make decisions. The administration involves making informed decisions based on available information and analysis. When you are at the course of controlling, when you discover that there's any negative action at the course of production, you have to, of course, reverse in making a decision, take a decision, prompt decision, in order to correct that impression, so that you move ahead in order to achieve. Administration is all about effective achievement of objective and goals. It requires assessing alternatives. You must look at the superior alternative within which to correct an impression and consider risk and, of course, uncertainties, and choosing the most appropriate course of action. And, of course, effective decision making is very essential for achieving organizational objectives. Resource management. We have said it earlier on that administration is encompassing of both human and material resources. And for you, an administrator, to manage resources very well in order to achieve the said goals, it must include financial, human, and material resources to ensure their efficient and effective utilization. This includes budgeting, allocating resources, optimizing resource allocation, and evaluating resource needs. That is how you manage your resources in human and material resources in order to achieve your goals. Remember, in economics, where you have land, you have material, you have human. In fact, the most difficult thing to managing an organization are human. And once you manage them well, you expect that you will have optimized results in whatever thing that you intend to achieve at the course of the set goals and objectives. Then, of course, stakeholders' engagement in anything are very, very important, because the interaction within various stakeholders, such as employees, who are also stakeholders of that organization, the customers who are also patronizing you, and then the suppliers and the community. This includes building intimate relationship, managing expectations, and addressing concern to ensure a positive and productive environment, so that you'll be able to achieve your own set goals and objective of that period of time at the appropriate time, not just to achieve it at the appropriate time. And that will sound well at the course of your discharge as far as public administration is concerned. Now, functions of administration. The functions of administration, like I have said, encompass a range of activities and processes that are essential for the effective management of organizations. While the specific functions may vary depending on the context and type of organization an administrator is operating on, here are some commonly recognized functions of administration, according to Neil R.A. Hollenbach and J.R. Gebhardt, of course, and Wright P., all in 2020. They look at functions of administration as a planner. He has to plan, because as he works with the political office holders, he is to plan activities and set to the political office holders for approval so that it will be carried out for the achievement of that organization. Of course, like I've explained earlier, to organize is no longer new to you here. Of course, you organize the structures of organizations and the offices. Organization is a system which needs organization. You must organize it well and structure it in such a way that as you are staffing, everyone will know his or her own role towards the achievement of that objective and the goals of the organization. Of course, directing, I have explained earlier on how to direct, and then controlling, coordination, decision making. Communication is also very important in an organization. And communication is not just to give directive and expect a result, good result. And common communication with your employee as an administrator is very, very important, because good communication can give you also achievement at the minimal period of time. Then problem solving in every organization, in everywhere you are, even in your family, provided whether you are married or not, you are safe alone with your parents, you have problem to solve. You always have frictions in life, and so you have the concept, you have the ability, you have the capability in order to solve problems as far as the administrator is concerned. It's part of the functions. Innovation and change management. Innovation is a new thing in board. You must innovate. If the action you took probably yesterday and the day before yesterday may not be the same today, because we are in a dynamic world where things are changing every time. And because of that, you must have a wider scope in order to innovate things that will help, and you manage it well to achieve also the goals and objectives of organization. Then the financial management. Of course, we have said it earlier on, the effective and efficient utilization of everything at the cost of achieving the same goals and objectives are very, very important. And there's nothing you can do today without the financial involvement. Any action you are taking, if we want to achieve such action, it must involve financial. And because of that, you must be very prudent in financial management in order to achieve the objective and goals of that organization. Remember, we have said about budgeting of resources earlier on. Budgeting includes both human and finance. So you have to budget accurately what is needed where and when in order not to be stranded. Then risk management. In every environment, unforeseen circumstances are there. And so you must also plan in case of any risk occur at the cost of carrying out the activities. You have an alternative to be able to correct that impression in order to gear towards the achievement of that goals and objective. Now, we'll look at politics and administration. Politics, if we are talking about political science as a field of study, the public administration also as a field of study is a child born of political science, because political science are the political office holders who are the governors, who are the top offices of the government, and those to implement their own policies are the administrators. And so it is very, very difficult to separate administration with politics, because administrator must have the scope and thinking on how to innovate things and collaborate with the political office holder in order to have a good direction and implement a good policy and achieve at the appropriate time. Now, politics and administration. Politics is a concept that pertains to the relationship between the political and administrative elements within a government or public administration system. It explores how these two aspects interact, cooperate, and sometimes clash in the pursuit of public policy and governance. Below are detailed notes on this topic. I have said it earlier on. I say political science and public administrators are just father and son, and because one is in charge of policy making, while the other one is also in charge of implementation of policy. And because of that, the one that is implementing may have a pundit knowledge and experiences on how to get things done, in which he will now supply the policy maker with information, with the accurate information within which to achieve any organizational goals and objectives. Now, politics. Politics refers to the activities, actions, and policies used to gain and hold power in government or to influence the government, like I have said earlier. While administration involves the management and implementation of government policies, laws, and programs. It encompasses the day-to-day operations and decision-making within government agencies and bureaucracies. When we are talking about bureaucracies, we are talking about the laid-down rules in which all activities are to pass through such rules in order not to offend anybody. Now, the distinction between politics and administration. Like I have said earlier on, politics primarily deals with policy making, setting goals, and deciding on the direction a government should take. Politicians, such as elected officials, play a central role in this sphere of politics, while administration focuses on implementing policies, delivering services, and ensuring the efficient functioning of government institutions. Civil servants, bureaucrats, administrators are key players in administrative sphere. The ideal relationship between the two. Of course, the ideal relationship between politics and administration is often described as a separation of powers. Just when we are talking about separation of power, we are talking about check and balances, so that one is relying on the other. One alone cannot carry all that is expected to be done in order to achieve a reasonable goals and set goals and objectives. As such, the separation of powers in this sense is talking about the politicians set policy goals and priorities, while administrators execute those policies efficiently and impartially. Impartially because there are guiding rules in which to carry out any policies at all, because we have talked about bureaucracy when we are discussing that. This separation is intended to prevent undue political interference in the administration. You know, politicians are being influenced by so many actions, so many primordial and parochial interests. It is the administrator that can now regulate the influences of political office holders, is to ensure that public servants make decisions based on expertise and the rule of law rather than political considerations. Thank you.